Okay, YouTube, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel for a brand new Pokemon investing and collecting video. Today we are going over the top and I guess the bottom cards of last week. Everything that has gone down significantly, mainly Journey Together being the newer set, and then a few cards at the end that are going up in price from some earlier sets. Things that dating back to like some of the mega cards and that sort of era as well in the X and Y. So we're going to jump straight into it in just a second here. But what I want to say quickly is thank you so much for the support. We are just about to cross 3,000 subscribers. And like I mentioned, we are giving away an Elite Trainer box at 3,000 subs. All you have to do to enter is like this video, leave a comment down below where in the world you are watching from, and I will pick one lucky winner that is subscribed to the channel to win the giveaway of the ETB. So with that said, let's jump into our cards. I'm looking forward to all the entries from all of you guys, and we're going to take a quick look at these cards from the week. So starting off with a lot of Journey Together cards, these have absolutely plummeted, which I'm not surprised. This is kind of normal behavior for Pokemon cards after their initial set release. The prices pre-release are always genuinely higher than when they have released and people have lots of product in their hands, with the exception of Surging Sparks and Prismatic Evolutions and probably the upcoming Destined Rivals set, purely because these cards are so hard to get, whereas Journey Together seem to be a lot more readily available than your Prismatic Evolutions was. That was probably the one set where you saw a clear uptick in a lot of cards on release because it was extremely hard pull rates. People couldn't get product and everything of the like there that would normally send a card skyrocketing. But let's look at some of these Journey Together cards on the list this week. The Iono's Killer Wattrel being the first one. This was a $34 card pre-release and it is all the way down at $16.23. Has halved in value since the release, down 56%. The second card on the list is Lily's Ribombee. I don't even know how to say this. I haven't watched Pokemon this far to actually know if that's the correct pronunciation. But again, looking at the chart, it was a $32 card. It is now a $10 card. So this has dropped by 68.8%. Massive drop for this one. And considering one, it's Lily, and two, it's actually a really gorgeous artwork. This is one that I can see potentially going back up in the future. But whether it crosses past that $30 mark again, I don't really know, but it's super cute nonetheless. And to be honest, it's just an illustration rare. It's got the kind of artwork on it that I would see in a special illustration rare. So if you just added texture to this, you could easily make it a special illustration rare. But I think the Lily's Clefairy obviously is going to always take the cake with that one. This isn't really a Pokemon that people would go for in that sense. But still, it's a cool card. I think for 10 bucks, it's worth picking up. And especially now that there's been a significant drop from the pre-release price, it's not a bad idea to look at some of these cards as well. The next one is the Hops Wooloo. This one has dropped 63%, was around the $20 mark pre-release and is now $7.52. So less than 10 bucks for a really cool artwork. Again, Hops Wooloo isn't exactly a Pokemon to me that screams I need it, but for some of you guys that have probably grown up watching or playing the games of this generation, this might be something that's really cool to yourself. Not personally for me, I like the older stuff. However, this is still a really nice artwork nonetheless, and you can pick it up for less than 10 bucks. Next one, a card artwork that I really like, the Ends Reshiram. Now, this isn't the box topper, which would have the Journey Together symbol or logo on here. This is just the regular illustration rare that you can pull out of packs. This one started off being a $40 card. People thought it was going to be really hard to get. It's not. The pull rate in Journey Together is actually pretty solid. I've opened 5 packs and I've already pulled the one card that I wanted, which was the Articuno illustration rare. I didn't have any issues with paying for 5 packs to get that card. I'm really happy with it, to be honest. So what was a $40 card, this is now an $18 card. Again, that's kind of that 3, 4, 5 packs to get that sort of thing. I don't know how much that would be in the US. This is actually 2 packs in Australia, maybe 3 if we're lucky, depending on where we buy them from. But, you know, that same pricing, you can just buy the single rather than risking it on the couple of packs. And again, this might still go down. We haven't really seen an uptick or a stabilization from this card yet. So it might continue to drop and you might be able to pick it up for even less than the $17 it's sitting at right now. Next up, one of the cards that I think a lot of people were pretty excited for, and that is the Waylord illustration rare. This is such a fun artwork. Like, it's not one of those ones that I think is super sick or like has crazy design on it. I think it's just fun. I think it's dopey. I think it's cool. Like, it's just a goofy looking card, and I really like it for that reason, that it's not taking itself too seriously. Pre-release, it was a $61 card, $62 card. That's crazy to me that that was the start out price, and now it's sitting at $22. I like this for a pickup at around 20 bucks. I think you can't go wrong. Waylord's a funky Pokemon. It's not something that has a lot of different versions of it in cards as well. You don't see it printed too often. So I think this could be a cool pickup as well at some point. Now, getting into our first special illustration rare, the Ends Zoroark. This is interesting because 220 bucks pre-release, very expensive. One of the top cards in the... After it's released, it's now 105. I've seen multiple people on like TikTok and YouTube pulling this card multiple times in a short amount of packs. So I don't know if maybe this is a special illustration rare that was pretty heavily printed and is in a lot of packs, but I feel like I've seen this card everywhere, and that's probably why the price has dropped. There's currently 126 of them, or 145 listed currently from 126 different sellers. So there's a lot of them out there up for sale already. And I think, you know, going from 220 down to 105, this could potentially even drop below $100. And you might be looking at something along the lines in comparison to like the Gardevoir from Scarlet Violet base. You know, that's a special illustration rare that sits, you know, that $50 to $100 mark. It kind of teeters with $100 every now and then. But that's one of those ones that I feel like this is going to end up being in that same sort of price range. Next up is the Hops Zacian EX. Again, another special illustration rare that has dipped heavily. 178 down to 67. This is, like I said, this is normal behavior for a post-release of a new set. Pre-release, obviously, everything is going to be super high, super ridiculous, and I don't know why people buy anything pre-release in terms of singles. I get if it's sealed product, but anything in terms of singles buying pre-release, you're always going to be paying too much, with the exclusion of like prismatic evolutions. That's just one of those sets where you look at it and you go, yeah, that's probably never going to come down in price. Not like after what we've seen with Evolving Skies and now with Prismatic Evolutions. I think that any potential future set with Eevee as the theme, or the evolutions as the theme, you're going to have trouble getting those products. And I think they're always just going to go up in value. Like if anyone's opening Prismatic now, like an ETB, or you've got a Pokemon Center ETB and you hold that for the next 5 years, that thing's going to be worth an absolute fortune. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind with these Eevee sets. Next up is the special illustration rare Clefairy, or Lily's Clefairy. Top card in the set. #1 chase that everybody seems to be after. Even the Japanese version of this was really expensive. It was 330 pre-release. It's now 200 USD. They're only, yeah, look, 98 currently available, so a little bit less than some of the other cards, but again, that's to be expected. It's the top chase, it's the top special illustration rare. It's a cool card, man. Like it's very cool. It's not something that I personally want in my collection, but I know like my partner froths this card, so you know there are people out there that do like it, and for it to take a big tumble and drop down all the way to 200 bucks, it's not a bad thing. You know, it's not a bad thing at all. I'm going to look when I'm in Japan this week to see comparisons on pricing between this and the Japanese version. If I can potentially pick up the Japanese version for a cheap price, you know, something that I would consider a cheap price and a good deal, then I would potentially look to get that for my partner, because she doesn't care about English versus Japanese. So this is one of those cards where, yeah, I can see there's an audience for it. It's not my thing, but people do like it. Next up, some of the cheaper end of Journey Together. The Swinub illustration rare is down to $5. 65% dip on this one. It was like a $15 card pre-release. I could have told you that this was going to be a $5 card. Like I feel like it's just one of those ones that you can look at and be like, that's not $15. You know, that's just not. It's not. People price these way too high pre-release. People actually buy them, which is ridiculous, and then they kind of just sit. But then the rest of them that get posted post-release, you just get nothing and nothing. And look at the numbers here, 335 currently listed. So they've already sold 1,000 of them, with the lowest price being 95 cents. I wonder what that card actually looked like. But yeah, I could have told you this was a $5 card. Noibat, this one being 685. I think this is a lot nicer than the Swinub. I think this one is worth being a $10 card at some point. Not to say that that's now, but again, Journey Together pull rates seem to be pretty easy. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of these out in the wild. But getting into some different cards here, we're going to look at some that are actually going up in value this week and taking significant jumps. So first off, we're going to start with the Blastoise, or the Mega Blastoise EX. This one has gone up 33% as of late. There was a bunch of sales on this. Well, not a bunch, but like more than usual over the last week. So that's kind of caused its price to increase a little bit. Mega Blastoise EX from XY base set is now sitting at 20 bucks. Whereas like a few months ago, this was like a $15 card. So it's not a huge increase. But again, we know with Megas coming back in Legend ZA, and, you know, potentially more Mega cards coming in the future, I think this is one of those ones that, you know, if you were collecting around this time, you probably have this in your collection, because it wasn't exactly a hard card to pull, was it? So that's something to keep an eye on, or if you've got it in your binder. Next up is the Charizard from XY. Let's do near mint here. From Flashfire. This card's sick. Honestly, every time I see this at my LCS, I am tempted to buy it. Again, I'm not trying to spend money prior to going to Japan, but this card always tempts me. It is such a cool looking Charizard card. Out of all of the Charizards we've gotten, this one is one that every time I see it, I'm like, I want it. I just never pull the trigger and actually grab it, but it is up 18%. So, you know, from 150 up to now just under 180. It's an 18% increase, which isn't anything crazy. But again, this feels like something that is going to continue to rise. And again, you know, there's only 12 currently available on TCG Player. What happens to those once they sell out? You know, you look at things like once these sell through, you've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them to sell through before you hit $300. And then if the $300 one sells, it jumps to $380. So this is one of those cards where it could potentially absolutely skyrocket, although that is a PSA 8. So you've got a raw one here at 300. So this one could jump from being at 184 now, or 180 now, to 300 with just a couple of sales. So that's something to keep in mind when you're looking at purchases. And I didn't know that. I hadn't looked at that. And if I'd known that, I may have purchased this today when I was at my LCS. But it's something to think about for when I come back, if I still have any sort of funds available after heading out there. Finally on the list is the Celebi and Venusaur GX from Team Up. This is a cool card. It's up 139% in the last 3 months. So huge gains over the last 3 months. And again, it's not huge dollar value. It's only a $32 card right now. But again, when you consider this as a $13 card previously, this is one of those cards where it has absolutely rocketed off the last few months. So I don't know what's particularly causing this. There's not a huge volume of sales compared to normal. I mean, there was quite a few here compared to normal, but it hasn't really done anything too much since then. So again, maybe the team up cards, they're just becoming less and less available and people are starting to pay more for things like this. But again, I digress. It could be a number of things. Like I said, we're just out here guessing a lot of the time, and you can look at data and you can read over these sheets and look at these graphs 100 times and you'll still never know what exactly the market is going to do. But that is all the cards that were going down and up this week. I guess there's probably more. We're going to do more videos throughout the week. Like I said, I'm in Japan, so I'll get done what I can. I'm hoping for a vlog in Japan as well to be up either at the end of the week or next week. And then also a few other bits and pieces throughout the week that I've got some updates on as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this content. I will catch you all in the next one. Make sure you subscribe for the giveaway, and I will see you guys next time.